Hello people that how's I doing? So today I just want to give a quick message and talk about something for a second. So as you know, the Irish Defence Forces, the Irish Defence Forces as a whole, they are called the Army, the Navy. I'm simply talking about the Navy now for a second. Now the Navy, there's only one ship of the Irish Navy now being used as in Cork for supplies, being left supplies on for the HSC. The rest of the ships, the Irish Beckett, as you've seen today, left Dublin for to patrol Irish waters, obviously. So that means, they're not really in the fight who gets, there's fires, obviously. And, I just want to say to the Navy, the members of the Navy, the Irish Navy, fair play and well done. Your country is very proud of you. You should be very proud of yourself for all the hard work he's put in. Not even, like, every time of the year, no matter what time of the year it is, we're all very proud of you. Protecting Irish waters and protecting people at sea, and above all protecting the environment too at sea. Now, so the Irish Navy ships, as I said, the Irish Beckett, left Dublin today. It's going to patrol waters, so any fishing trawlers or anything fishing illegal or anything like that to be seizing them, or any immigrant boats or anything like that coming into Ireland, or any drug boats or anything like that. That's what they'll be doing for the next while. But yeah, for the last 2 months they were helping out with the testing centres, obviously, and things like that. So thank you to the Navy for that. Obviously the reason why is because they moved it to the Aviva Stadium. The army, the army of the Defence Forces, is conducting it from the Aviva Stadium now. But yeah, I just want to say to the Navy, fair play to you, well done. You really served your country, very proud of you. It's an honour to this country, for all your hard work. And I don't think the army's mentioned that much for its all its effort that's been put in it. And at the same time, and I say this to people, the army has no union. They rely on you and me to stand up for them. The same as the families, to rely on the families, to stand up for them. And I say this straight to you, and this is no fault of any member of the Navy, and it's simply that I have huge respect for them. You see all the hard work they put in the last 2 months, in helping as much as they can in this fight with this virus. But I might also say straight, the docked naval ships. There was 2 naval ships docked for nearly a year in ports because there are no men to man them. So they just left 2 patrol boats unmanned in the port and just left them there. So that's the first issue. Next issue, there's not much rooms in the naval ships for soldiers, the sailors to sleep in. And so in condition to that, they have to sleep on the decks. Second of all is the pay. Actually, third of all is the pay and conditions. As I say, in that condition, just terrible. The sleep on the outside the ship, not inside the ship, is just terrible. And it's, disgrace for anybody to be treated like that. Especially somebody who's serving their country, it's a disgrace to be left like that. And obviously the pay, I don't even have to explain what the pay. Like, that's why they should, out of the nurses and doctors, the nurses and doctors get a decent pay. The Defence Forces just get left behind. And the simple is that the nurses and doctors do get a decent wage. The Defence Forces really are just given the tuppence, I suppose you could call it that. Given the crumbs of what's left of the cake. If that makes any sense. Because, they have no union. The nurses have a union. The doctors have a union. They have a union. The Defence Forces rely on you and me and their families. They have no say themselves. The members of the Defence Forces, they're active now, can't say about what's happening. Because that's treason if you really go around talking about what's happening in the Defence Forces. Which is very, very stupid, because they should be allowed to talk. It's only when they retire or when they buy themselves out of the army that they're allowed to talk about things. And some of the conditions are appalling in both the Navy and the Army and the Air Corps. And it's not their fault. They're working with what they have, and that's as simple as that. Nobody can ask any better of them, and they're doing their very, very best, as we've seen the Irish Navy. But huge respects to the Irish Navy. And again, I just want to reiterate to people, we have to stand up for them. We have to do the right thing when all this is over. We have to stand up for their pay and for better conditions for these men and women who put themselves at risk. As they do all the time, no matter every day of the week, they put themselves at risk for the sake of this country, for the sake of us, and to protect our borders and to protect our international waters. To stop the drugs from coming into Ireland by boat. They do their very best in doing that, and I think everybody, and I salute them for their hard work. For all the bravery and all the effort put into maritime patrol and obviously in this fight with COVID-19. So yeah, thank you to the Navy again. Thank you to all the members of the Defence Forces for the hard work. But the fight still goes on with the Army and the Air Corps. They're still working around the clock, doing their best. But for the Navy at the moment of time, it's basically finished for the Navy now. They're going back to usual operations. So yeah, just stay safe, everybody. If anybody's watching from the Navy, please stay safe. Mind yourself, mind your family. God bless you. May God protect you. May God look over you. And may God give you the strength to push forward on the sea. So yeah, stay safe all and be careful. Bye.